Okay, we're live. Thanks for the signal there, James. I thought you were doing one of your impersonations at the...
James was being a good floor director. He was giving you his cue.
I felt like I was at the Bronx Zoo, and with the it's all happening at the zoo. But anyway, we are here live, and James gonna...
It is live, isn't it?
And I'm well, and thank God I'm here with you all. I appreciate you even more than I did last week.
I bet.
Oh, boy. So this is show 25. Gosh, it goes so fast when you're having fun.
Is that what this is?
Fun or fast. Anyway, the situation is that I am very grateful to be here, actually in my own home, in my own bed. And I had a little sojourn. And I was planning to do this. I was going to be going with Dr. Dave Kalin. He's, a good friend.
He was going to go with you on your trip?
No, he was there. He went on a medical mission about a month ago.
Oh, that's right.
And it was very helpful for the Cuban government. And so we said, well, maybe I can go. He sort of greased the track. And
yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking to me. Never mind. Continue.
So the situation unfolded, and so here we go. Hola, mi amigos.
You want me to translate? Hello, my friends.
And I just returned from Havana, Cuba, and it was beautiful. It's kind of, you look at what the people there, and they're happy. They don't have as much, that's for sure. And they're just beginning to make an impressive reversal of, their fortune, buildings, new structures, we have new neighborhoods emerging, and it's a slow process, but the people work hard, and by and large, they're content, I could see that.
Are they content? They don't have revolutions and stuff there like they do in other countries so much.
They already had their...
Well, like lately.
No. Everything is fairly serene, and the city needs a lot of work. They're building. I guess they're getting an infuse of capitalistic funds.
Yeah,
and that really makes a difference. But it's a beautiful city. I was in the old town Havana, and I really had what would I say was an epiphany.
An epiphany.
And what happened was I went there. I had friends that, besides Dr. Dave, this woman that's here with, that helps me around Jersia, and she had family. They live in the western part of, the eastern part of in Cuba, in one of the provinces. And so I went there, and there were some people I had met, and but I really wasn't able to accomplish what I had from this encounter. But I found out, John, I left on Thursday, the 18th.
You didn't stay as long as you wanted to.
No, because of what transpired. But in that short time, I accomplished more than I realized that I would. And I felt very grateful and satisfied.
You just looked around and said, my work is done here.
No,
I can go home.
No, it was beginning. Friday night. Well, first let me preface my remarks. How did you guys enjoy your holiday, Easter Sunday?
I went to visit family, cousins that are in town, and we had ham and stuff like that.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, our holiday sort of coincides, like the Last Supper that you guys have, Good Friday, and
yeah,
we had the start of the Passover, with Cecil B. DeMille's and and the parting of the sea with all the fun stuff that happened.
So what goes on with Passover, and what are I'm always fascinated about the eating restrictions and the fasting and the
Well, when they said, let my people go, and Charlton Heston took his shaft and he went out from the city of, in Egypt. And they spent 40 years, they didn't get to the promised land. But first they had to get to the Red Sea. But because they couldn't take a lot with them, and their bread couldn't, leaven and rise, and so they had to take it and as it was, and that's the matzah. And I even have some matzah I was going to show. I brought some back from Cuba. I didn't bring back any cigars, but I brought back. And the point was that I went to 2 services in the area where I was. It was like 4 blocks away, and they welcomed me. And David was there with his family and on the medical mission, as I said last month. So it was really a very special opportunity for me to meet with, my background, this Jewish community came from the same areas called Sephardic Jews from the Middle East that my dad's family, when they came from Greece
I was going to say, which was Greece, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that had an extra special meaning. So I have some of these. This is the synagogue, and and it was very nicely constructed. It was old, and they had a tour.
You're showing pictures.
I am. Yes, God, you're a godsend. You're my ears and eyes.
Bill, for those of you who aren't looking on YouTube, Bill is showing us pictures of Cuba. We're sorry that you can't see them.
But they're very elaborate. This was constructed probably at the turn of the century, and the workmanship was very special on it. And so I partook in the Passover Seder, Seder. It's about 2 hours, and after you go through the whole rigmarole of the story of Passover, you remember they had to spend 40 years in the desert with the golden calf because of that transgression. So
40 years, that's a long time.
Well, you know what happened? We really know. The story is that the guys were afraid to stop and ask for directions.
That's where that came from.
They kept wandering.
Wandering.
So that was...
Is that where the term wandering Jew came from?
Could be. We've been wandering a long time after that. If it was just 40 years, it wouldn't have been too bad. We're talking about 40 millenniums.
You've been wandering longer than 40 years, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's in my DNA.
Yeah.
I can be wandering around in my house even.
So, I've seen it.
Yeah. So basically, while I'm talking, well, let me sing first.
Well, you're not going to finish your story about
Okay,
Passover?
I'll finish the story. Oh, the Passover. Well, it passed over, and I met a lot of nice people. Mm-hmm. And there was one gentleman who Dave had met when Dave was there. And so he was gracious to accept me. And his name was David also. Maybe that was also why they...
David,
yes.
David.
And I really appreciated this opportunity. It sort of circumvented one of the main reasons why I was sent to Cuba.
Why were you sent to Cuba? Why were you called to Cuba? Why do you think?
To open up some doors. One door closed and a few opened. And I wanted to see these people that you hear a lot about, and they represent a lot of like third world communities and nations.
Sure.
And I know a lot of my friends, Latin friends, Spanish friends, and Central America, South America, and they're really wonderful, hardworking, community oriented, and this sort of opens doors. And I have a couple of kind of quote things that when you think about it, you got to be positive, and you look at things even though things aren't that good. And that's what I think in this kind of culture, that they're positive, because a negative mind will never give you a positive life.
They're content, aren't they?
Yes.
More or less.
And it was in the marketplace, the mercado, and they get excited about meeting people, and I almost bought a guitar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it was a little too much. I didn't really need the guitar, but I wanted to play for some of the where I was staying. And this is another example.
You didn't bring your guitar with you?
No. I wasn't planning to.
You would have been a hit.
I would have, and it was there was.
What was that?
Is that a concurrence there, James?
Hi, May. What's going on over there?
I forgot to mention James. Sir James is in his element. He helped me get to and from the airport, and he could do a whole show on that.
Yeah.
And the great Google Translate app I put on your phone.
Oh.
A lifesaver.
Yes.
Even when I'm not doing the show, this man is helping.
What were you going to do without Google Translate? What were you going to do?
I had another outlet that I used when I was talking to the people in Cuba preparing for my visit, but I used my computer, and that made it a little more, sophisticated. This app, this translator, was right there, and it did it right in front of me and in front of the people. They could even type in Spanish, and then it would come translated.
Well, they could have talked to it also.
Well, I thought so, but there was not that Google interface was not available, and I tried to do that. That would have saved me a lot, but I had to type everything in. I tried to get to that icon, but it wasn't kicking in. And so there were so many wonderful, wonderful things. And that my dad was involved with building a museum in Washington. And the people that were staying at this bed and breakfast where I was, they were from Bermuda. There were a bunch of people from all over, Argentina, Brazil, Austria. But anyway, they were there because one of their countrymen in Bermuda had an art exhibit that was being featured. And with my luck, it just happened that there was an international art festival with artists from all over.
In Cuba?
In Havana.
Right down there where I was.
Wow.
And so, as another reason, I was in hog heaven, so to speak, when I walked into these exhibits. There was this one that I was hoping to show you, and evidently does not seem to be happening. But
we'll put it in post-production.
Okay. Well, here, thank you for saying that. That was sort of the key.
We don't have post-production, folks.
All right. So I walk into this museum, and a young man there, and it just knocked my socks off. And I was wearing sandals, so that almost happened. But I will show you a few of the... this was the closest thing to a guitar. They had John, if you could see, I'm going to show you this because you can take that. That was a modern guitar.
Oh, okay. It's like it looks more like a fiddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's modernistic.
Yeah, it's like almost like a stick figure type.
Yes, exactly.
Thing, playing a fiddle.
And
a red fiddle, a red violin.
And then this is really cute. Is about a 5-foot, 6-foot corkscrew. Bronze, it's probably 6 foot. So here's the corkscrew, and around it, surrounded by the.
Just go like that.
Okay. Thanks, James.
All
right.
Doesn't matter either way. We can't see it.
So you can describe that, John. The
We'll
bottles.
put that in post production also.
Right, the bottles are surrounded. Must be about 3 dozen bottles, and the whole museum had beautiful. This was one about humanity. This is what I liked, and all these figures of people from all over.
They're like gargoyles.
Well, they're human figures. And it was set, and you go outside, it was a beautiful garden, and there was a little fountain, the owner of this museum, and one of the most successful guitarists name was Owen Lescay, and Lescay, and I was told that he was one of the most, like, you remember Segovia and stuff, like, he was considered as good. And they had a little fountain with him there, with his guitar. It was a sort of a monument for him. But it was really a beautiful thing, and there were other art shops and museums, and they were featuring what looked like, I have a picture of a Salvador Dali piece.
Okay.
And so I was in heaven. It was a beautiful day walking, and then the shops and the mercado.
So Cuba is a good place for art.
Yes. It has
The Latin culture itself is artistic.
Correcto mundo.
Did you have a hard time telling what time it was down there with all the melting clocks?
With all the what?
I think that was a Salvador Dali reference. I'm not sure
Oh, okay.
how that got to Cuba,
Thanks.
but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the same time zone, so we
Yeah.
didn't have to worry.
Thanks for that, Jaime.
Okay.
Si, senor.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
So you were going to play a song.
Yeah. This is a picture of the little fountain with the guitar. The special dedication for this guitarist.
What did you take these pictures on your phone
Yeah.
and you had them printed?
Yeah. I just
Okay.
printed them today.
Okay.
So the song, and not only art, but life and love and, expressions.
Happiness.
Yes. And requited love.
Did you have some good Cuban food? Like authentic, rice and beans and
Yes.
I went to a really good Cuban restaurant in Key West. It was awesome. I mean, it was like somebody's house.
That's what this
That's
was.
how you know it's good when you
Yes.
you look on the reviews and it was like in the middle of a neighborhood and we were a little reluctant, but when we went in there it was packed, so we knew it was good.
Yes.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, that's what you just described is where I was staying.
Yeah.
It was a house in the middle of the neighborhood, and the owner and his family.
They cooked for you.
Yes.
You didn't have to go to restaurants.
Well, you only had breakfast, and maybe there was a lunch that was also.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Please,
Would you go back?
Yes, I would. I would.
All right.
And the plane fare is only, shake it up, baby.
Jaime wants
Yeah.
Guillermo to play
Aye.
his guitar.
I'm saying it was like $250 if you get a good
Round trip?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not too far. It should be cheaper.
Well, I'm
You gotta pay.
sorry. All right. Now, this song, Guantanamera, was very popular back in the 70s. And,
Guantanamo?
well, it's Guantanamera.
Where is Guantanamo? Anyway?
It's at the end. That's really on the end of the island.
Okay.
But this is Guantana. The name of the song, Guantanamera, he's in love with a woman from Guantana.
Ah.
And Yehera is a young woman. So Guantanamera is the woman.
The plot thickens.
Yeah, oh, yes. It's a beautiful song. And he's a poet, and he writes these beautiful verses. But I'm just going to do a few because I can only, my Spanish is very limited.
No.
Un poquito.
Un poquito. That's when people ask me, because I look Spanish, and people walk up to me and speak Spanish, and you Espanol? I said, poquito.
Yes.
And then they start speaking really slow, and I still don't understand.
Despacio. Repeat that.
Por favor, speak Espanol non...
No entiende.
No entiende.
Okay.
Por favor. Gracias.
Uno, dos, tres.
Cacho.
So this is Guantanamera, a lady of Guantanamo, and Guadalajara is a young woman. Guantanamera, la ira Guantanamera, Guantanamera, la ira Guantanamera. soy un hombre sincero, de donde crecen las palmas. Yo soy un hombre sincero, de donde crecen las palmas. Y antes de morir me quiero echar a mises del alma. Contaramela, querera contaramela. Contaramela, querera contaramela. Contaramela, I care a lot for the lady, my inspiration, Montano's fairest lady. I'm just a man who is trying to do some good before dying, to ask each man and his brother to bear no ill toward each other. This life will never be hollow to those who listen and follow. Contaramela, I care a lot for this lady, my inspiration, Montano's fairest lady.
Did you put your own words in there?
No, it wasn't Elton John's song. I just do it for Elton John's song. No, that's part of it. And this man who designed or derived the song, it was written back almost 60 years ago. Jose Marte. Would you believe Spanish words by Jose Marte?
Jose Marte?
Yes, I went to his. Actually, I almost went to his music. It was closed on Monday. But anyway, they were such beautiful verses that says, I write my rhymes to uncover my secret feelings, the rambling thoughts of your lover. I write my rhymes with no learning, and yet with truth they are burning. But is the world waiting for them, or will they all just ignore them? Have I a poet's illusion, a dream to die in seclusion? And then it ends with this, creating this beautiful image and feeling of outdoors. The mountain says, a little brook on a mountain, the cool spray of a fountain, arousing me in emotion more than the vast, boundless ocean. For there's a wealth beyond measure in little things that we treasure.
Did you venture outside the city at all?
No, and that's why I want to go back, and maybe you guys want to come with me.
There's mountains and
Everything.
yeah.
And there are provinces that are along the coast, north, south, but that was part of...
It's like Hawaii. It's big, like an island of Hawaii.
It has a lot of those same features.
Yeah.
And as I said...
Because a lot of the islands,
in the
Caribbean are flat. There's no mountains.
But there are also some that,
Puerto Rico has mountains. Right?
And some of these, like San Martin. But anyway, this is what, I missed. But I had 5 days, John, and it was good to partake in that religious and spiritual experience. And I made really amazing friends that I'm going to, keep in contact with. The owner of the hotel where we stayed, his name was Leo.
Leo.
Yeah. and his family, and he has had a lovely daughter.
Leonardo.
Leo had a lovely daughter named Jacqueline, and she helped me because she spoke English. She was the only.
Thank goodness somebody did.
Yeah, it helped, and it was just beautiful. I traveled through the city, and this is a picture in the hotel from the hotel that Ernest Hemingway,
Good old Ernie.
had lived in, and he wrote his stuff. And I felt very, it's like you sort of got the spilkies.
Spilkies.
And so when it's a beautiful scene of the panorama overlooking the city. And remember, I was telling you about how they have hundreds and hundreds of cars from the 50s.
The cars. I would go there just to see the cars.
Oh, it was so cool. And they're
There's
so
a blue and a
brightly-
blue and a pink car.
Thank you, Johnny. And
Did you ride in the pink car?
no, the pink Cadillac.
The pink Cadillac.
And
Are those Chevys? Is that a Chevy?
oh, there were all kinds. These were Buicks, and there was a Chevy, and there was one that my dad had. It
If
was
you
like
are a mechanic in Cuba, you will never starve.
yes, yes. So this is how I looked. This is from the top of the hotel, and what made this hotel so amazing is that I actually have pictures with Ernest.
Aha.
You know, a funny fact about those cars
Tell us.
is that they've been on the island so long and cannot get replacement parts.
That's right. They have
So
to make their own
they're
parts.
all Cuban craftsmen that recreate and reproduce the parts.
They recreate the parts on
Everything.
3D printers.
No, with hammers
Now they're
and,
going to be in the
and,
next
and
thing.
anvils.
Well, you see them, and not just the cars, motorcycles.
That's right.
They're repairing the different parts, and it's right out there. It's pretty cool stuff. But this is where I was in hog heaven. This is a picture with me and Ernest.
Oh, Ernie. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Ernest Hemingway.
Mhm.
And I have my T-shirt. That's the thumbnail that James created.
Were there any six pod cats there, like in Key West?
No, but I'm going to go to Key West because that's where he lived for a good part of.
Oh, I know. Liz. Yeah.
And
Well, I told you the other day that you can actually rent the room that was his bedroom.
Yep.
I will do it. I'm going to bring one of those typewriters that he used when I was at the Key.
But you'll have to get really drunk like he did.
Well, he had a system, and I remember when I was in Key West that they would say that he got up early in the morning with his notepads, legal pads, and he wrote he from 9 to 2, 3 in the afternoon.
He was productive.
Yes, and they'd have the the manuscript started writing, and they would put it together, and then
And then he'd mix a drink about 3 o'clock.
he'd go meeting, and they had pictures of the places that he habitated. So it was a pretty neat lifestyle. I really admire the man. Unfortunately, he had too many guns around.
Yeah, he had some issues.
Yeah, one last issue.
Yeah.
Kaboom.
Kaboom.
Anyway, but he left us a legacy. When I was teaching the other day, I was teaching Friday. Well, I was teaching Thursday. Today is Friday. And so I brought stuff with me, and the students were appreciating not that they could remember Ernest Hemingway, but writing, and I brought some of my books, and they enjoyed that. And there are things that live on, and I hope these students have a chance. I explained to them about the books, For Whom the Bell Tolls, the Spanish Civil War, the Old
Is
Man.
that a Metallica song?
No.
Oh. Sorry. Go ahead.
And Old Man in the Sea, that was Spencer Tracy, and Kilimanjaro. He wrote about the mountains. He wrote about telling things that he lived this. He had an amazing life. Like in World War I, he was ambulance driver, and he wrote about that and what it was like during that war and the Civil War in Spain in the 30s, and it's just something I gravitate to, and maybe I'll have a chance to myself have. People say, hey, that was pretty good. And I wanted to read it to you, and hey, James, can we help a little bit with this guitar situation? Because I'm not going to...
Help him out, Jaime.
Okay, thank you, sir, James.
You going to play another tune for us?
Yes.
This is, you said it's a Three Dog Night tune, right?
Yes.
Is it Shambhala?
Not really.
No. Is it Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog?
No.
No.
But we will persevere, and
what is it?
It's called Pieces of April, but we're not going to
Pieces of Eight?
April.
Oh.
No, it's not from Long
It's
John
not
Silver.
Sticks?
Anyway,
You never play anything I know.
we're going to do something. I'm going to sit down with you this week, and we're going to pick out some songs. that
Good
you
idea.
know. Okay?
Okay. That'd be awesome.
All right, bud man, I'm going to do that. Now, this was on the desk. I was teaching reading, and my standby is when they said, what do you, I said, when I tell them about I'm a writer or author, I said, in order for you to be reading stuff, somebody has to write it. So that's my sort of segue in. But this is something, and I wish I had an extra copy you could look at it, because you might have some response to what these numbers. It says, We Remember. That's the title of this, and this was in the class. I always like to take pictures of stuff that I think might be helpful along the way. All right, so we read 10% of what we read, we remember.
That's true. That's why in speed reading they teach you just to read the middle.
Well, Now, 20% of what we hear, we remember.
And what about C?
That's the next one. You're a mind reader. 30% of what we see.
See, that's why movies are always more successful than the books.
Oh, yeah. Yep. All right, now when you combine of seeing and hearing, that's 50%. They added them together, 20 and 30%. So 50% of what we see and
No
hear.
wonder Game of Thrones is so popular.
Oof. Yeah. All right, now
Not
we're getting
with me,
into
but-
the big figures. 70% of what we discuss with others, we remember.
Oh, that's true. That's why you have debriefings and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, now 80% of what we personally experience.
You remember.
That makes sense. And this is what I said, I got to take this with me. 95% of what we teach others.
You remember. Wow.
That's pretty
I wonder how much of a podcast you retained.
Well, we're not teaching.
Are we teaching? We're kind of teaching.
Oh, yes. I was self-predicating.
No, well, the person that's doing the teaching retains it. What about the person learning?
That's 5%.
Yeah,
That's
it goes
100.
back to 5%.
And that was Edgar Dale, D-A-L-E.
I like that. All right. Yeah.
They take a look.
Okay.
So it was a nice day at the school, and so I have a few things. Hey, how we doing with time there? I haven't.
And not so good. You better start playing, or we're gonna run out of it.
Oh, never run out. Oh, I look at that. 10 minutes. Oh, we're cooking with oil. So one of the books I was looking. Oh, John, I want you to look at this, because I want to refer to it. It's called,
Bill is,
I'm talking
as
to-
we speak, Bill is rummaging through his pile of
This
stuff,
is the
looking for
sloth-
something. And he's trying to kill time until he can actually
I'm not.
find
I'm not.
it.
I
You
am
found it.
not.
Okay.
Sloth yoga. Oh, what are you doing, James?
Sloth yoga. Okay.
Hey, there's a couple interesting.
And you're
things,
showing me this why?
because I want you to leaf through it, rifle through it, and then come up with some stuff. Okay. In the meantime,
I got nothing.
you just did a couple.
It's
things.
a sloth doing different yoga moves.
Yes, and we can show
It's
that on
ver-
the television.
It's
and
very cute.
I thought it was a monkey.
when we
Well,
actually get a YouTube video show will show it. Maybe not. I don't
They
know.
said the population of herpes-infected monkeys are growing in Hillsborough County. That's the truth.
Okay.
You
What
got
should- what should we do?
It looked like a monkey on the...
No, sloth is not a monkey.
I thought
They're
maybe
different.
that Bob Buckhorn made a calendar of...
All right, what are you doing, Bill? You gonna play
Herpes
music or
infected.
what?
I want to share. I want to. When I flew back from
Why you
Havana-
keep showing our podcast audience pictures?
because I want to share this with them. It makes. This is a picture of my returning over land.
It's a picture of a plane flying over Cuba.
Southwest.
Very good.
No,
Play some music.
no. It's coming back. It's coming back from, and I'm arriving in Tampa.
Okay, it's beautiful.
And I just want to tell you and tell my audience, this is the best country.
I have to say that anytime I've ever left the country, I'm always glad to be back. Although glad to have taken the vacation.
Yes, exactly.
When I got back from Europe, I was like, I can't wait to get back. As much as I loved it there.
It didn't even bother me going through customs. Okay, but I want to share. We got 9 minutes. All right, I'm gonna do this song, and then I'm going Earth Day. We had Earth Day, everybody, and I'm talking about Earth Day before I sign off. All right, this is Three Dog Night.
Shambhala. Sorry.
Did you eat
You're not
some
sorry,
gumbo?
John, and it doesn't,
Sorry, not sorry.
and I'm not. It doesn't hurt anymore because I love you. But anyway, this is April. Next week is going to be May, and this transition, this song, has to do with that.
Oh, is this in lieu of? Are you going to have a poem for us next week?
Yes,
Oh no.
gotcha. Okay.
Uno, dos, tres.
No, that was the other song, James. All right, this
One,
is called
two, tres,
Piece,
cuatro.
Pieces of April.
Called Wooly Bully. Sorry.
Oh, you guys get me all.
Go ahead and play, please.
April gave us springtime and the promise of the flowers and the feeling that we both shared and the love that we called ours. We knew no time for sadness. That's the road we each had crossed. We were living a time meant for us, and even when it rained, we would laugh it off. I've got pieces of April, I keep them in a memory bouquet. I've got pieces of April, but it's a morning in May. We stood on the crest of summer, beneath an oak that blossomed green, feeling as I did in April, not really knowing what it means. But it must be then that you stand beside me now to make me feel this way, just as I did in April. But it's a morning in May. I've got pieces of April, I keep them in a memory bouquet. I've got pieces of April, but it's a morning in May. I've got pieces of April, it's a morning in May. I've got pieces of April, keep them in my memory bouquet. I've got pieces of April, but it's a morning in May. 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 Just a morning in May. Just a morning. Just a morning. Just a morning in May. Just a morning in May. Pretty interesting finale. That almost sounded like you there, John. We could do it too.
Okay.
Okay.
We got 2 minutes.
Okay. Amen. All right. Next week, God willing, we're going to have.
Where are you going this week? Are you going on another trip?
Yeah, you didn't know about the last trip. But anyway, this is certainly, when I look back with me from my visit, we were all here on this mothership Earth. And I was glad to get back to my home port, you know? And so let's hope we're steering in the right direction, because Earth Day was here on the 24th. And I didn't share with you my poem, but you might not be so lucky next week. But anyway, next week, we're hoping to feature Dr. Herman Koren.
Oh, is he doing a call-in?
Yes. And John, you had the pleasure of meeting this great man when you videotaped
I did.
that hour Earth Day, silencing science and like a chain wreck. How did he describe what was happening with? It's like
it's about global warming.
Yes, global warming. But what's happening now is like again going into a train wreck here. But anyway, Dr. Koren happens to be one of the world's foremost expert, and highly credentialed expert on public environmental health, and as you said, global warming. So I recommend anybody that wants to get a good feeling about Earth Day. The last 2 newsletters I had put Kenny Loggins' song about convictions of the heart.
I'm all right?
No, you.
Oh, sorry.
Convictions.
I keep
of the
interrupting
heart.
you with the wrong titles.
You can
I'm
do
sorry.
that. I'm used to it, and so is everybody else, and they love it because they love.
Your mama don't
you.
dance and your daddy don't rock and roll?
Kenny Loggins. And so, Convictions of Heart became the rallying song on Earth Day, and it's a powerful and lends itself to the message promoted on that special day. So we're making headway on our YouTube channel, Bill Sefakar and Spreaker.com.
Subscribe to YouTube.
So please, and Spotify.
And Spotify and iHeartRadio.
And remember, John, this is your favorite part of the show. If you can dream it and wish it, when you see it,
seize it.
Yay! Okay.
I don't understand what it means, but
I will interpret that in Spanish next time.
Please.
Okay, my friends, we love you. Be good to each other, and we're going to be back, God willing. And please send us your letters and all the good things you want to hear.
Yes, write us a letter, put a stamp on it, and send it to P.O. Box. Oh, we don't have a P.O. Box.
I have it, but send it to 9501 Hamlet Lane.
You're going to give your address out?
All right.
That's not your address.
In the meantime, go forth and prosper,
Bill.
and have a great week. And we'll see you next time. Your friend, Bill.